that an employee...
Are you saying that the public records officer doesn't know where to find their public records law? It's going to take them more than 15 minutes to find that?
It doesn't just finding the record, it has to be a review of the record and determine what can be released.
The public record policy doesn't need to be reviewed. It's a public policy. Let's get the facts straight.
In trying to get public records from the Lynn Haven PD, we uncovered some issues with the way Lynn Haven is handling public records requests. Mike asked at City Hall to speak with the records clerk to find out what guidelines the city used to govern their public records process, since they aren't following the state records law. From the Government in the Sunshine Manual, providing access to public records is a statutory duty imposed by the legislature upon all record custodians and should not be considered a profit-making or revenue-generating operation. Florida Statute Section 119.07, 4D, however, authorizes the imposition of a special service charge when the nature or volume of public records to be inspected is such as to require extensive use of information technology resources, or extensive clerical or supervisory assistance, or both. The charge must be reasonable and based on the labor or computer costs actually incurred by the agency, and a determination of whether the nature or volume of the public records requires such extensive assistance must be made on a case-by-case basis. The special service charge may not be routinely imposed. April 13th, 2023, City Hall, Lynn Haven, Florida.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Help you out with that.
All right.
I'm CJ.
Okay. Hey.
What may I help you with?
Yeah, just public records request.
Would it be better for you if you come through and sit down at the conference table in the room there so we can...
It's up to you. Whatever easier for you. It's not it's just one request I think I have.
Okay. Well, whatever's easier for you, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, how can I help you? Let's start there.
Yeah. I just want a copy of the city's policy on public records. City may not have a policy on public records.
On public
Yeah, like any written policy that the city has on public records.
We have one. We follow the Florida statutes, so that'll be easy enough to get through to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit and wait for it?
No, email address would be fine if you just email it. Yeah.
I can email that to you. Do you want to let me have your email address or?
It's insightisfree.
INSIGHT.
Yep.
Is free all one word?
Yep. Insightisfree at Gmail.
At gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Do you want a link to...
Whatever's easier. Like if you've already got it posted online, the link would be fine. If it's not posted online, then just an attachment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we probably won't have it posted online. We'd have a link to the Florida statute that we follow, because we would definitely be following.
Okay, yeah, I'm not asking for the Florida statute.
Well, that's what we follow. That is our policy.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I would argue that the city isn't following it in some aspects, and you guys don't have to have a specific policy for the city, right?
No, we follow the Florida statute. So
right. Well, what I'm saying is you don't have to have one written down. Like you may have one written down,
no.
and if you do, that's what I want a copy of.
No, we won't, because we won't have our separate public records policy, because we follow the statute of Florida. That is the policy we follow. So if there's ever anything called into question that we're doing that might be wrong, we get that interpreted by our attorney, and we get his guidance on that.
Well, so like the police department, right? They're sworn to uphold the Constitution, right, and the state laws, right? So, but the police department still has a huge handbook for policies.
That's for the personnel policies, I'm presuming. Yes.
Right. So it's similar to that.
We'll
like, so you guys can add.
Well.
You can add too. Like it's well. You can give more guidance to your city and personnel on how you guys process things. It doesn't have to be anything special or unique. It could literally be copied and pasted out of the state. You're not required to have your own policy. Like I think we understand that. But you may have one. There may be one written down. I'm being told that there is a policy.
I'll have a double check.
Yeah.
I am the person who does the public records.
Okay.
I haven't seen one because I refer directly to the Florida statutes if I ever have any questions about whether I'm doing something right or wrong. However, having said that, there may be one on file, so I will have a look for
and
that.
And it may be with the police department, because Dutton at the police department...
I don't actually have anything to do with the public records requests for the Lynn Haven Police Department. They deal with their own public records. because of their entity and the confidentiality around the residents
Okay.
and the records they make
That's fine.
about the residents.
Well, then, yeah, if you would communicate.
So you want a similar thing from them as well?
Well, I
is
mean,
that what
I'm
you're
asking
saying?
for all of City of Lynn Haven. So every department.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's the police department, public works department. Like,
Okay.
I understand that you're saying that you may not have specific oversight in all the public records the
Yeah.
police department has, but but you can still
They're
communicate to
the
those
only-
departments and
the-
find out.
The other departments will fall under us, so that's fine. But
Sure.
the police department has their own separate one because
Mhm.
of confidential
Yeah.
resident.
Yeah, well, yeah,
information.
yeah. So the way
Okay,
that
so
the way
you
that the
want the
Sunshine Act works is
LHPD.
anybody can make a records request to anybody that works for the city, right? Or it doesn't have to be the city, any public entity.
Correct.
Yeah,
but-
I could have made it to this person over here. Could have taken my public records
and he
request.
would have taken your request and forwarded it on to the person who
Sure,
deals with
exactly.
it.
So the same thing,
yeah.
same thing here. Like, so if you're not the custodian of the records for the police department,
I
then
can put that,
right.
as I said, I can put that request in for you
right, yeah.
on
So
your behalf.
because Dutton has said that there is a policy about how much they
So
charge.
you've spoken with Dutton about that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
whether that's a written policy or just a practice that they have, the verbal policy,
Mhm.
I want whatever record you guys have.
Okay.
He referenced the
I think
policy.
what he's referring to, and it's probably something that I'd refer to as well, is our actual public records request application form has got it all outlined in there in terms of the rates.
So
and
yeah,
the rest of it.
that
That
may
is
be-
available online.
Sure.
So, but I can download that for
Yeah.
you. And I'm wondering, is that something that you'd want created in a special way that is
No,
accessible to you?
Yeah,
or
you
will
should.
you
You
have
shouldn't
someone
have to.
who?
You shouldn't have to create it. You should.
Yeah, that's correct. but-
Ideally, it's already saved and uploaded in that
Yep.
accessible
We-
format, but
yep.
most documents aren't. Like
No,
so.
no.
So you may have to convert it to an accessible format, and
That's what I'm.
yeah, you can. I mean, you can
Asking
email
you,
me
is
and
that
then
what
I'll
you would like?
communicate. Yeah, like if it's not readable, I'll let you know.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
I'll send you what I want. If you want it changed or
Yep.
made accessible, then you'll put that request
Sounds
through
good.
additionally.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I guess I've asked for a visual interpreter for the meetings, and I'm still waiting on the city to get back to me on that. They keep telling me it's a 21 day, it has to be 21 days out, which is not reasonable. I don't think a single court in the nation would say that a person making a disability request gets turned around and says you have to do it 21 days in advance. It would definitely not meet the reasonableness standard. That being said, the city hasn't produced one for both the last two meetings, so I'm asking for the next meeting, which is like 2 weeks out. Right? Should be plenty of time for you guys to provide a visual interpreter for the next
Have
meeting.
you not had a response from our attorney?
There was an
on that
email
regard-
from
in that regard?
a guy named Kevin.
Kevin Owens. He's our city attorney.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
I think he's been dealing with that request and the
Yeah,
details.
and I
around it.
responded to Kevin pretty much the same thing I'm telling you, that the 21 days is not a reasonable standard. Like,
And did he get back to you on
not
your
yet.
response? Not yet.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
no.
All right. I'll check with him where he is with that then.
Yeah. And is there any? You guys don't call them aldermen or council people. You call them what? Commissioners here?
Commissioners.
Yeah. Are any of them in today?
No, and they don't typically work from here.
Okay.
This is the admin building. They
Yeah.
have their own.
What about Jesse Nelson? Is he in?
He's probably out at the, what do they call those?
The
Big
tent
tents?
voting?
Oh yeah, there's voting on today.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Alright.
it's early
Early
voting
voting.
since the 10th,
Okay.
and so they've got their tents, their
Alright.
candidate tents.
Well,
up
yeah, maybe I'll
outside
try to
there.
find him and ask
so I
about.
think they're all probably out there.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get this issue of public records on the agenda for a meeting for the commissioners to discuss and for the people to discuss and get input from the community
Okay.
regarding fees in particular.
Okay.
So.
All right. Then that might be your best avenue is to chat to him about it and see if he's.
All right. And it was CJ?
CJ, correct.
All right, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for getting it.
Thank you.
We received an invoice from CJ claiming it would take an hour for her to find the city public records policy, and that we would have to pay $23 to get the record. If she didn't have a policy to go off of, how did she know what she could charge? And if her job is handling public records, how does she not know where the policy is? Also, there's that hourly rate charge again, so much for being determined on a case-by-case basis. Mike returned later that day after receiving that email to chat with CJ about this seemingly obvious problem. April 13th, 2023, City Hall, Lynn Haven, Florida.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to CJ.
Can you come this way? I'll get her for you. I think she's in a meeting. Come this way.
Isn't she back here?
Yes, but she'll come out here to meet you. If you come this way.
I thought her office was back this way.
It is, but she comes out front.
Okay.
So if you can come back out front and I'll call her so she can come out and meet you. Left, right? I don't even know where that is. Go forward and to the left. To come back towards the front.
Oh, why is that?
Because CJ beats you out front.
Is this a restricted area?
No, but we
Okay.
usually beat you out front to walk you back.
That's fine. I don't mind waiting.
How's it going, fella?
Hey. Do you know where CJ is?
I'm CJ.
Hey.
Did you talk? Sir, may I help you?
Yeah, I'm here to talk to CJ about a records request.
And what is it that you need?
Are you CJ?
No, I'm Jennifer.
Okay.
We've talked before.
Okay.
Are you recording?
I think I got an email from CJ. Or did you email me?
She handles public records requests,
Okay.
as do I. Are you here to pick up one, to pay? What's
Well, yeah, I need to discuss the email that she sent earlier.
Okay. You can discuss it with me if you'd like.
Well, she just walked by, so why can't I discuss it with her?
I think you recorded her before without her permission, and she does not want to continue to have that. She doesn't have, you're violating her rights too by recording her. So you can talk with
What
me.
right is that?
What's your question, sir?
I'm asking what right you say I
At this
violated.
point, what's your question?
That is my question.
I can't give you legal advice.
Well, I'm not asking for legal advice. You made a claim, so what is that?
What's your claim here today? How may I help you with your specific claim?
Okay, who are you?
I'm Jennifer Hodges.
Uh-huh. What capacity do you work for the city?
I'm HR Director and Risk Manager.
HR Director. All right. Yeah, I did a records request today for
Okay.
the city's public records policy.
Okay.
And then I got an email shortly after that with an invoice for $23.
Okay.
Can you explain that?
Well, there's usually some type of requirement to search for the record, then to determine if there's any redaction, and then to apply if there is a fee.
How do you know what fee to apply?
It's done based on time of the individual who's doing the research.
But where are you getting the standard from?
The standard is their hourly rate.
Right, but where are you getting this from?
Where do you mean, where am I getting it from? If someone
Like,
does the
you're
research,
just pulling this number out of a hat?
no,
Okay,
there
so-
is an hourly rate
Okay, why are you
They-
saying it has to be an hourly rate?
because it's based on the salary of the individual who pulled
Okay,
and
you're
did the
saying that, but
research.
why? Why is that the case?
That's based under the Sunshine Law. It allows us to provide, if there's more than 15 minutes that is taken to prepare the public record, the agency has a right to recoup the cost and the charges that an employee.
Are you saying that the public records officer doesn't know where to find their public records law? It's going to take them more than 15 minutes to find that?
It doesn't just finding the record, it has to be a review of the record and determine what can be released.
The public record policy doesn't need to be reviewed. It's a public policy.
Well, sir, I didn't
Right.
take the request.
Okay, well, are you in charge of this?
No, sir.
Are you over her?
No.
Who's her supervisor?
Her supervisor is the city manager.
All right, let me
You'll have
talk to the
make-
city manager then.
You'll have to make an appointment for that, sir.
All right, is she here?
No, she's not currently. No, she's not currently.
Okay. But you realize how ridiculous that is, right?
No, I know public records and the amount of work it takes to prepare public records.
Okay.
And I understand what the law says and what it allows an agency
Right. It
to
says
do.
that it's not supposed to be a money-making scheme,
It's
which is
not
what
a
it is.
money-making scheme.
It is a money-making scheme.
No, sir, it's
That's
not.
absolutely
Our
ridiculous
employees
to
are
say that
paid an hourly
it takes an
rate.
hour to
I'm not
find a
gonna
public
talk over
records.
you.
Then stop talking. I'm
If
talking.
you would like
No, you
to
stop
have a-
talking.
if
I'm
you'd like
talking.
an-
You can stop
All right,
talking. I'm
sir.
talking.
I'm ready to call and get some assistance with you. I'd be happy to assist you with an appointment. I won't discuss it any further. Would you like an appointment?
Is CG not working now?
Would you like an appointment, sir?
With who?
The city manager.
When does she work?
She has 24 24/7 working time. She has appointments. She's not always in the building, as are.
Okay. What time what are her hours tomorrow?
I do not run her calendar.
All right. Well, you do public records requests too, right?
I am often asked to research and prepare public records.
Okay. Well, I'd like to inspect the city manager's calendar.
What does inspect?
Hmm?
How would you like to inspect her calendar?
I want you to produce the record and how it's kept so I can inspect it right now. It should be readily apparent.
No, it's not.
It should be readily available.
It is not readily available.
Why not?
Because it's not my calendar.
Okay. Does she have an office?
Yes, she has an office.
She doesn't have a calendar posted anywhere that you guys can access?
No, sir.
So can you make an appointment?
I can take a time and request if she has.
Okay,
the
but
time
you can't
available.
actually make the appointment.
No, I
Okay.
can put in a request for an invite.
All right. Well, what about the public records policy? I would like to inspect that.
I'm thinking, I don't know if, let me go to my computer and see
Mhm.
if anything is available to inspect. You have some.
For those of you who, like Mike, can't see, and for those who may not recognize her, this is the city manager, standing behind Mike.
Would you like to, if you come to your right, or, I'm sorry, to your left,
You want me to go in there?
4 feet, you'll come into my office. And to your left, about 1.5 feet, is a chair if you'd like to have a seat. Let's see. Go into the website. Let's see what's on the website. Okay, I know we have a request form.
Does the city manager have a secretary? Or an assistant?
Her assistant is CJ.
Okay. Seems like I need to talk to CJ then.
And as I said, if you're going to record, she will not.
Why is that?
That's her position not to speak to you, sir,
Well, no, it's not what the public's paying her for. She's in public service.
but not to be recorded.
She doesn't have that right. If she wants to be private, she can work for a private employer.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
So do you know where your policy is for public records?
I'm looking on the website to see if it's there. Good afternoon. This is Jennifer Hodges. Is Kevin Obos available, please? Thank you.
Kevin?
Hi, Kevin. It's Jennifer Hodges with the city. I have Mr. Mike Nelson here who would like to see the city's personnel or public records request policy. He came in earlier with a public records request. He recorded CJ and she does not want to speak to him going forward. He's demanding information about to be able to inspect the record. And to speak with CJ, though she has indicated to me she does not want to speak to him since he's recording her without her permission.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, nobody has a right to go speak to anybody that they want. You know, as far as the records, yeah, you have a right to inspect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't have to get a copy of them. So if the record's available to inspect,
He can inspect it.
you can inspect it, yeah.
So what I will do is go see if she has the record pulled and can sit him at my front desk and he can inspect it, correct?
Yeah.
All right, I'd be happy to do that. What,
CJ has access to the manager's calendar, I'm assuming, right?
that will probably take more. That's not readily available because
Why
it
not?
might be online. It might be online. I don't know how she keeps her calendar, sir.
I'm guessing CJ is the assistant and she helps manage the calendar.
Right, but I don't know.
So if she's
I don't
working, then
know
it should
if
be
she
readily available.
keeps the city manager's calendar or not.
Well, let's find out. I'm here making a request.
And I can see if it's available, but my guess is it's online and it may not be that we, how do we handle that, Kevin?
It just depends if it's available or not.
Okay,
We just don't know.
if we have to print
I
out,
mean, obviously, like
yeah, I don't know how she keeps her calendar. I mean, I know mine's, is a digital calendar, so I don't know exactly how she keeps her calendar. All right, let me see, and, but also I know his issue has been that there are charges for public records.
right. Well, that was for pulling the body cam video and having to see if anything needs to be redacted.
Right,
You know, obviously our public records policy, that'd be easy. If you want to inspect it, fine. If you want a copy, you know, you can.
charge them for the pages,
charge them for
exactly.
whatever pages.
Yeah, and I don't, that's not one of my
There
policies, so,
there would not be any additional charge like there would be for having to look through a video to see if anything needs to be redacted.
okay, all right. Let me see if I can get both of those in, is hard copy, do I need to do it in a rich text for you?
If you can send me the copy in honor of the original request that I made this morning, then send it via email. But if you're going to charge me, which I still contend is illegal, then I want to inspect the record. And if I'm going to inspect the record, I need a visual interpreter to do so.
Okay.
So it's your guys' choice.
The only charge would be for, you know, excessive clerk time, like I said, looking for redactions and things like that. It's just normal production.
Yeah,
inspection.
right. But the irony here, Kevin, and hopefully you can appreciate this, is that the public records clerk got back to me within like an hour and a half and said, hey, we're going to charge you $23 to give you a copy of the public records policy. I'm like, well, how did you get that number if you don't have access to the policy? And it's just retaliatory games. So,
Well, and I don't know, I didn't fulfill that, but if I can get it, do you need, if I can email it to you, do you
if
want
I
it
can,
in
if I can read it, if it's normal OCR, optical character recognition, it should be able to be read. And if I can't read it, I'll let you know. So.
Well, and because I can have IT convert. as
Yeah,
well.
you don't necessarily have to convert it automatically. Ideally, you guys should be uploading your files in this format anyway, so that you don't have to run into this every time.
So,
but-
public records request policy.
Right.
That's not one of my policies, so that's why I'm.
Yeah, there may be one for the city and as a whole. There may be one for the police department, or they may have their own.
Yeah, I
their
don't,
own. I don't know.
what the.
So.
Do you know if there's a separate one for?
I don't.
No, you
I
don't.
think so. I think it's just one for the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the city manager's calendar, which that one will be honestly hard. I don't think
Yeah,
she has
for-
a hard.
for the calendar specifically.
Scope of dates.
Yeah, what's your
For the calendar specifically, I want to inspect the calendar. I don't want to copy. I want to inspect the city manager's calendar for the months of March and April of 2023. So last month and this month.
March and April.
And if we need to set up a time for that, that's fine.
Well, certainly I can't produce that in hard. I can't produce a calendar right this minute.
Yeah, I mean, if it's readily available is what the law says. So you can ask CJ since she has access to the calendar likely, and if she can pull it up on a monitor, then
All right.
Yeah.
You want to sit, stand, wait?
I can come on.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Didn't mean to leave you hanging. So, at this point, I can't produce it, but I'd be happy to email it to you if I get it before, because I usually work late.
Yeah.
I can forward it.
Okay.
And also have a point.
Yeah, there's no rush on either of those.
Now, do you want the calendar, if it's in printed form, just sent to you by email?
No, I want to actually inspect the calendar.
Okay.
And so that means that however the record is kept, if she has like a big calendar on her desk or on the wall, like, then that's it. You know, if it's kept digital, then that's it. If she's got a little planner, then that's it. However she keeps it, that's what I want to inspect. And in order to inspect it, it's actually in the word spect, like spectate, to look, to see. And since I'm blind, I'm asking for a visual interpreter to help me to inspect the calendar. So that's going to take some coordination.
With the cues and I can explain. And
No, I want an actual visual interpreter to help me to inspect it.
California with no luck. I actually called the Disability Center today and have someone who's supposed to call me on Monday, a Miss Carol Davis, who sets up lots of services like that. So.
Okay. What about IRA? Have you tried IRA?
Oh yeah, I've done.
And what did they tell you?
Several conversations with them.
Okay, so they're a visual interpretation service.
And they're not giving, their salespeople are not calling me back, and I've called at least 3 times and have emails to prove that.
Okay.
So doing the best I can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if they do special rates. I know they quoted, and I can send it to you, what they quoted Bay County. They have, it depends on what hours it is. I think the Monday through Friday normal business hours is like $3 and change per minute of interpretation, and then it approaches close to $4 if it's on the weekend.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But yeah, I mean, you can start an account for free with IRA. So I mean, you don't have to. I actually don't know if that rate that they give, like Bay County or other municipalities, if that's a discounted rate or not. So I would guess it would be.
Yeah. Again, I'm waiting for somebody to call me back.
Okay.
I've done told them we're a city, where we're located, what the needs were. At that time, it was for the commission meetings and the dates. If we have a particular meeting here, then I would have to put that.
Yeah, next meeting, I asked for that this morning as well. Did you get that from
Yes, I did
CJ?
get that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So at this point, all I can do is wait until I get the documents to be able to forward.
Yeah, for the policy, shoot me an email and I'll try to read it with my screen reader. If I can't, I'll let you know. And then for the inspection,
have it converted.
yeah, and then for the inspection, we'll just set up a time whenever you can get an interpreter, and then figure out how to make sure that record is available. And the Sunshine Act says it's like where it's kept. So I understand if it's like on her computer, or if it's on if you guys have a local net, then it can be on any computer essentially. You can set up a computer in any room and say, okay, this is actually her calendar. You know, it doesn't have to be literally her desk, unless she actually keeps a big old planner, you know, something on her desk. But I don't know if anybody does that anymore. So, all right.
The finance director has a planner.
Oh yeah.
Goes with her everywhere.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go outside and maybe talk to the campaigners a little bit before they run off today.
Yeah. They'll close at 5. I don't know how long the campaigners hang out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Be careful.
Yep.
April 14th, 2023, City Hall, Lynn Haven, Florida.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah. We talked to, is it Hodges?
Jennifer?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if she's in or door's closed.
All right.
She's not answering her door. Let me see if her car's here.
Okay.
Nope, her car's missing.
All right.
Do you want me to give her a name and number to call?
Who else is available for taking a complaint for disability?
Let me check. I'm payroll. Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Hi.
Hi. You wanted to file a complaint?
Yeah.
Close that door, please.
Who are you?
I'm Vickie Gaynor.
What capacity do you work for the city?
Yes, I do.
In what capacity?
I'm the city manager.
Oh, cool. I was trying to talk with you yesterday. I think I have a records request in with Ms. Hodges regarding the city's policy for the Americans with Disabilities Act on how people can make reasonable accommodation requests, appeals, and a grievance process. And I'm still waiting on that. I don't know.
Okay, so I'll make sure Jennifer's not here. She's actually at a meeting, so I'll check on that for you. What else?
Well, I guess that thing is going to help figure out how to file this complaint, because this complaint is based on disability access.
Okay.
So, but I'll just tell you, and then we can figure it out together.
Okay.
The ramp here at the bottom, and if you want to go, I can show you, or I can just tell you.
Yeah, you can just tell me.
The ramp on the bottom here, and the handrails at the police department, at least on the steps. I haven't checked if the ramp side over there, but they extend out probably that much, maybe a little bit less than that. And then there's nothing below it.
So we need to get the ramp fixed and handrails.
Yeah, so essentially the ADA requires, and it's for people with visual impairments, like if there's something in, I think it's 24 inches to 80 inches is like this no-fly zone, essentially. Like if you're going to have something that's sticking out over the walkway, like even in here, it can't be sticking out more than 4 inches. And that's, your handrails are sticking out probably a foot or more.
Okay. All right, what's next?
And then across the street, I don't know if this is your guys' responsibility, the sidewalk across the street.
Okay.
There's a branch that's hanging out probably at this level. So I'm about 5'9", so.
Okay.
So,
what's next?
and that's about it. It's just got to be trimmed. That's got to be trimmed, and then for the handrail, it either needs to be rounded off, or you can have something affixed to it, to the ground level. So then the cane says, "Hey, there's an obstruction." Those are bad for guys. I've gotten racked a few times for handrails, so it's not. I'd rather hit a tree than a handrail most of the time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get those things, and we'll try to get those taken care of for you.
Cool.
All right, you take care.
Yeah, and then it's just following up on the other records I have. I think I have records request in for the policy.
I think CJ, when all of that gets ready, she will send you an email if she hadn't already.
Okay.
Okay.
I complained to I forget her first name. Hodges. Jennifer.
Yes.
Yesterday, but she said she wasn't supervisor for CJ. So I guess she said you were the supervisor?
Yes.
So I made that request yesterday in person for a copy of the city's public records policy. And then like an hour and a half later, I got an email from CJ with an invoice.
You asked for the ordinance of the policy in there.
Just the
correct?
policy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that ordinance is a policy, and she did go and search for that policy. You can search for it online, and then you don't have to pay anything, and find it yourself. But if you're wanting a copy of it, that particular ordinance, we did not have a copy of that because before we took over, everything was pretty much paper, and so she did have to go back and find that policy.
But you actually have one for the city?
Yes, we do. We sure do.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah, you actually could go on Minicode and just pull it up yourself, and you just put in public records, and it comes up and you see.
Okay, but you don't have like an internal policy subsequent to the ordinance. That's what you're saying.
That's our policy, and then when you sign out, when you fill out the public records request, that same information is put on there as well.
Okay. Okay. So it's just the ordinance then.
Yeah, that's our policy. What we live by.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess the complaint I had that I told Jennifer was, it seems ridiculous to me that the public records clerk, if that's CJ's one of her hats that she wears, for her to be able to say, "Hey, this is going to cost $23," when this is like basically her guidance for her job. You know, she should be able to pull that up instantly and like, here you go, poop, and send.
Actually, CJ's only been with us for a while, so she actually had to go into a lot of these big books to find that ordinance.
Okay.
So I think it was ordinance 872. So that ordinance has been there long before any of us got here.
Okay. But it is online?
Yes, it sure is.
Okay.
And if you just put in public records request, and she was of the impression you wanted a copy of it, so she was going into the ordinance books to pull it out, give you a copy as you requested.
Yeah, I told her via email, so because I can't read printed material.
Well, we can surely turn it to where you can read it if you need it for me to do that anytime.
Yeah.
But just to save you some money, like I said, just go online and our Muni code, put in public records.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is responsible for the city for adding items to the agenda for the commission's meeting? To the commissioners, the mayor? Okay.
The mayor and I.
All right. Because I've requested the public records policy to be put on the agenda. So where are we at with that? How do we get that on the agenda so that the commissioners can talk about it?
That is, the commissioners already know the policy. You can come up any time and have your 3 minutes to talk about the public records, but the public records follows the public records law. We're not doing anything any different than what the law already says.
And Kevin said otherwise yesterday. The city,
Kevin, I don't
the city attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the phone on speaker with Jennifer and me yesterday, and he said that you guys shouldn't charge me for a simple copy of the policy.
He did not know that there was research involved in that. When you guys were talking, he did not know, and I went back and I told him I saw CJ going through those books to find that policy for you.
I guess the issue, the issue is incompetence. Like the public doesn't need to pay because the staff are incompetent. Like it shouldn't take 15 minutes for the public records clerk to search what is my policy to do my job, right?
No, I don't think that's the case at all. I think again we have a lot of paper documents that we cannot get rid of. Some of those ordinances are in paper documents, which means you got to go through all of these books to find them. That is not incompetence. It's just trying to be thorough for you so that we can give you what you ask for. That's the most important thing.
That makes sense if I was asking about some obscure thing that's not relevant to the person's job. But when it's actually the guidance for her to do her job, then
the public records
that's
request
incompetence.
is on that sheet, that public records request that you fill out. That same information is on there. So we already have a public records request ordinance in place and policy in place. And if you like to stand up and talk to the commissioners on a next commission meeting, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I've been talking to them outside, and they've shown interest in actually having it on the agenda. So the ones that are out across the street, they said that it is a problem. And then they've had problems getting records and having the city charge.
I think the people that are out here campaigning, I think that there's some people campaigning, and then they're commissioners.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all? Thank you.
I think so for now.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, the visual interpreter. Do you know an update on that?
Jennifer, we have spent several hours trying to do that, and I will let you know that we are trying very hard to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Yep. And who is with you right now? Another city employee? Hello? You're just gonna walk away? Thank you. You too.
We received a link to the City of Lynn Haven Municipal Code pertaining to public records. Article 8 states, "It is the policy of the city to comply with Chapter 119, Florida statutes regarding public records, and the city shall charge a reasonable fee for the production of public records in accordance with the charges authorized by Chapter 119, Florida statutes and city policy." A simple visit to the city's website shows how the city is disregarding the state's regulation. Notice especially this bit right here. If the nature or volume of public records to be inspected or copied requires the use of other supervisory assistance of information technology resources, a special service charge will be billed at the rate of $23 per hour. If the nature or volume of public records to be inspected or copied requires the use of clerical assistance of more than 30 minutes, a special service charge will be billed at a rate of $19 per hour. This includes locating, assembling, redacting, and/or copying the material. That sounds like a special service charge that is being routinely imposed rather than on a case-by-case basis, as is required by the state statute. Mike has been trying to get the mayor and commissioners to look into this issue. But to our knowledge, Mike's requests have fallen on deaf ears with one exception. The Lynn Haven PD is no longer charging $7 for a disc. They are now adding a 25-cent charge if they provide the disc for camera footage. Also, it is important to note that the city did finally come through and provide IRA visual interpretation services at the most recent commissioners meeting on April 25th, 2023. However, they did not discuss the public records policy issues. Perhaps now that most of the elections are over, they will look into it. One more thing. With the exception of the interaction on the 13th, Jennifer has been kind and professional and has been very responsive to our inquiries. She was a major part of facilitating the visual interpretation services for the meeting.
Thanks for watching. De Oppresso Liber.